But this live stream is called Walking into the Wind because I think the wind was 40 miles per hour last night. Well, down by the Cajon Pass, it's definitely like more, oh boy, blowing harder. It's a little calmer now, but branches did fall off trees last night. And yeah, even though I put my hair in a braid, I'm like, I almost might have to re-braid my hair after I get to where I'm going. And yes, so this is a talking live stream about walking into the wind. So like literally, I'm walking into the wind, going up, like, okay. So the incline and elevation from where I live to where I'm going is 1,000 feet, but it's gradual. Like some places, like you go up a hill, but this is just like, woo! It's like slanted. It's not really flat, but you're just like progressively going up, and then I'm walking into the wind. So it's a good workout. But I guess I just want to do a live stream talking about a few thoughts on my mind as I'm walking and talking, sharing my thoughts with you. So I guess my first thought is about what is the cookie cutter life, and is it good or bad? I'm not saying it's good or bad, it's just a preference, okay? I guess I could say the cookie cutter life is kind of like another phrase for keeping up with the Joneses, doing what everybody else does. Honestly, like, it's not that there aren't certain things that I would like. I think, yeah, everybody would like to make more money. That's to me, a good thing. But in general, like when it comes to certain things other people want, I don't necessarily want those specific things, but I never have. Oh my, we're walking into the wind again. I've never really wanted specific things that other people want in life. Like some people, they want this very cookie cutter, like curated life. Like I'm not trying to get down on it. It's just they want, like, there's certain things that they want. They want to go to prom when they're a kid. I don't know. I never wanted to go to prom. Like when I was in high school, that wasn't interesting to me. Like I didn't even really have an interest in dating in high school, to be honest with you. I just was like, no, I'm young, I'm a kid. Like, it just didn't appeal to me at all. But so many people were just so interested in like being in serious relationships, and I'm like, I want to study for my history exam, write my English paper, watch a show, take my dog on a walk. I'm not interested in dating or going to the prom. That was just my mindset back then, because I'm like, I'm a kid. So already, like, a lot of people my age were very into the dating scene, but to me that wasn't super important. And honestly, to be honest with you, I'm glad I waited until my 20s to kind of date, because I don't know, I would someday be open to meeting the right person. But to be honest with you, the more time goes by, I don't think dating's all that in a bag of chips, or being in a relationship's all that. Like I've heard people say recently, like, oh, we're married but we have nothing to talk about. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound that exciting to me. Like there are some really good relationships out there, but like I've never been one that like pursued dating. So I didn't like go to prom, I didn't date. Like when I was in college, I was studying or reading books, and a lot of people got mad at me. But this is where I differentiated, and I'm like, well, I don't know why they care, because they thought I wasn't social enough. I'm like, I'm not a social person. Like, so actually one recommendation I would make to a young person moving out for the first time is get a studio apartment and don't have roommates. Like if you can avoid having roommates, that is so good for you. You might pay a little bit more rent, but it's actually worth it, because you can control the heating in your house, you can control the utilities, you can do side jobs to pay for it, and it's worth it. Because having roommates, to me, like if I had known then what I know now, I never would have put myself when I was a kid, because I consider being in your late teens, early 20s a kid. Like, let's be honest, you're a child until you're like 20, 8 or something, you know? Like, you have a lot of growing up to do. Hi, how you doing? Like, you have a lot of growing up to do. Like, some people are very mature in their 20s, but most people, until they get to be like 28, 29, they don't feel more confident about where they are in life. So I think having your own place is good. I think not really dating is a pretty good thing, because I think people are just so obsessed with like having that status, that relationship, you know, and it's not that important to me. Like, I'm going to wait until I meet somebody that's really good for me. And that, to me, honestly, like, I have to show you something. Like, this is how windy it is. There's a palm tree that literally blew over. Look at that. Like, it's uprooted and everything. Like, when I say that this is windy, I kid you not. Like, it's now up to 25 miles per hour. So, yeah. Anyhow, that's cool. You got a new cat. That's cool. Nice. Anyway, so that my whole thought about is, it's not cold here. It's about 50 degrees. I don't like cold weather anyway, so it's windy. Like, I'm like, I live in California, or I would want to live in Hawaii, somewhere warm. Like, to me, it has to be warm. So anyway, even though today's not super warm, it's warmer than other places. I'm wearing a sweatshirt and a dress, so I'm okay. But yeah, what was I gonna say? What else? So having a cookie cutter life, keeping up with the Joneses, doing all the things other people do, it's really important to some people, like to go to prom, to have the college roommate experience, which to me, I didn't think was all that. I just thought at the time, oh, this is a way to save money on rent, but not really, because you ended up probably spending more money on roommates eating your food, on disagreements over utilities, on moving out, and then somebody makes a mess and you don't get your deposit back, when you could get a studio apartment. Like, if you're a college kid, by the way, there's a lot of people that actually rent out rooms and houses. Like, there is a way you could have your own space and not have roommates. And I mean, it's like a detached house. So I totally recommend that for a young person. Like, get that experience living by yourself, you know, because it's really good for you. Well, it is for me anyway, unless you want the college roommate experience, then you should have it. But I personally didn't find it that gratifying. I like people, but more on a one-on-one basis. And another thing too lately, this is what I think. I have certain interests and things that I will share on here, like on my channel or on my blog or something. But in daily life, I don't always tell people what I want to do. Or I'm kind of thinking recently, like, something I want to work on. But I don't want to tell anybody about it, because first off, if it doesn't come to pass, then people judge you, and they're like, well, didn't you say you were doing that? So personally, I would rather just do something and see if it materializes, as opposed to telling somebody I'm going to do this and that, and then it doesn't happen. For me, I just feel like it's less grief. Another thing as well, this is just another thought. So, if you have interests, if you keep them more to yourself in daily life, and maybe you share them in a blog or you write a book about it, to me that's healthier, because then you can find your niche audience or people that share your same interests. Because honestly, in the cookie cutter life or world, a lot of people don't care. If you look at people in general and you tell them you're into long hair, some people might like that, but the general public doesn't give a whoop-de-doo. They don't know why somebody would want to grow their hair long. To them, that's pointless, and they'll tell you that. But do you need that grief in your life? No. So rather than subject yourself to being judged by people that are very worried about keeping up with the Joneses or doing what everybody else wants to do, I say you don't need to tell people what you're doing or your interests or your hobbies. If you feel like they don't coalesce with what everybody else wants to do. Like, I like to read history books. I might talk about it on my blog, or people might see me reading the book, but I'm not gonna like justify what I'm reading to other people because they might not like that, you know? I'm gonna read what I like. I'm gonna do activities I enjoy, and I don't need to necessarily do what other people think is best, you know? I feel like that's the best thing for you, in my opinion. It's so windy though. I don't know if I can keep talking and walking. I might have to stop talking. What else? Yeah, I just feel like if you want to have like a more authentic for yourself life and you're not really into groups, like this has really been demonstrated to me over time. I'm kind of glad I never joined different groups of any kind because I don't know. I don't really feel like my individuality can be met in a group. And in a group, there's always somebody who wants to have whatever their interests are, like be the dominant ones. And I'm kind of a person, like when people start doing something in a group, I just want to go outside and go for a walk and look at the trees. Like, that's my reaction. I'm like, I don't really want to be in a group where one person has to be the boss of everybody or just has to make their like wants and desires more assertive, because a lot of people will go along with it because the worker bee mentality is like, look, I believe in working, but I don't believe in just doing what the one person wants to do that's dominant in the group. So I'm always going to kind of like say my opinion about things, and you don't have to agree with me, but like if somebody ever comes back at me like kind of in a terse way, I'll just say simply, well, you may see it that way, but I don't see it that way. I don't need to be corrected at any time because I'll correct them back. I always do it. Like, I correct people back, and it turned out I was right about something, and I thought, well, you know what, I don't even need to correct somebody back. But sometimes some people believe something that you don't believe, okay? But does that invalidate their belief? No, it doesn't. That's my opinion. They believe what they believe, and we don't have like substantiated proof that your interpretation of this thing is the absolute truth, okay? It's not always. And yeah, I just think that's part of why I don't want to be part of a group dynamic. I have some plans about things I want to do, but I'm keeping them on the down low because I'm just going to see if they materialize, and it's secret, top secret. It will only come out on my channel as it materializes. Anyway, those are the only kind of secrets I want to keep, though. Other kinds of secrets are trash, but I'm just more secretive about things I want to do in my life or interests. Like, I will share snippets of it on my channel, but I don't feel like I have to announce it in general life, you know. No point, because people, I hate to say it, they judge others if this thing doesn't happen, and people love to gossip. And just to avoid gossip and naysayers, protect yourself, protect your mind, protect your heart, and keep it to yourself. I'm a 12.